Hello and welcome to Beyond the GPA's video series, Preparing to Launch. I'm Anna Maria Wenner.
And I'm Maura Mulligan.
And today we're going to be talking about boundary setting. And Maura is going to lead us on this conversation, which I think is actually interesting because knowing Maura, she is pulled in every direction between work and her commitments with her community and her children's schedules. I often just watch her in amazement, like, how does she balance all of that? And balancing is really tricky, especially for college students in their transition. So Maura, I'm going to be watching with as much interest as our students and parents. So with that, take it away.
Thanks, Anna Maria. And I will say, I think, boundaries are one of those things that I continue, as I'm sure many of you all listening do, to fail miserably and try again. And I think that's really all we can do. We often overextend ourselves, even as grown adults. And when we think about our students going to college, there are so many different aspects of boundaries and boundary setting to be mindful of and talking about, which I think are just so important. And so, some of the key pieces of boundaries that we want to be thinking about for college students, and that's whether they commute to college or live on campus, and they both have different, really unique challenges in terms of setting boundaries within their families. Right. So I know parents may not want to hear that, but some of the work Anna Maria and I do with students is how do you set boundaries, with your family members? What's the expectation of your involvement in the family while you're either away at college or commuting from home? And maybe those, tasks and duties and responsibilities can't be maintained because college is a lot different than high school, and there's a lot more independent work that has to happen. So there's that sort of family boundary piece, which is really important, really hard and challenging for many of our students sometimes to figure out how do I say no to a parent, or how do I let them know that that's overwhelming to take on all these other things or just to keep involved in my family in quite the same way. And then there's these new boundaries and challenges that they have to take on. Coming to college and getting involved in clubs and organizations and coursework and wanting to sort of be involved in all those things can be really overwhelming. And we often see that sometimes, even in our most successful students and our student leaders, of in this desire to be involved in everything and to feel helpful, we say yes and yes and yes. And then we see our students kind of sometimes at a breaking point during the semester because they've taken on too much. I think all of us as adults have felt that way oftentimes in life. And so, how do we begin to work with students around setting those boundaries and how they can really be thinking about their year and the times that there will be pressure points and things will be busy, and really help them plan ahead for how they can set those boundaries ahead of time and plan for that and know when they need to say no to things, and how to do that in a way that doesn't make them feel bad or that they're letting someone down, but more thinking about it around self-care. So there's those pieces. And there's this other boundary piece around friendships and relationships. And that's this other piece that for many of our college students as young adults, some of these things are navigating for the first time. I'm in school and I'm trying to have friendships, and I'm also maybe for the first time ever in a relationship or in a more serious relationship. How do I set boundaries on my time there? Anna Maria and I over the years have seen students getting really pulled into either a friendship or romantic relationship at the cost of other friendships or the cost of classes because they get pulled into that emotional piece. And so thinking about how do I set boundaries that are healthy in a relationship so that I can hold on to myself and my friendships while also kind of managing this other, new relationship that's happening. Or how can I have these friend groups and still maintain friendships from home? And how do I do all of that well? So those are really challenging things for our students to navigate, especially as young adults. They often don't have a lot of experience doing that. So our goal is really to work with students to sort of normalize setting boundaries and help them really think through their year, and then troubleshoot, like, oh, if I'm a people pleaser, how do I go about doing this? Or if I know in high school I got overwhelmed, we're going to probably see that again at the college level. How do I begin to think about those boundaries ahead of time and setting those so that I can um, remain healthy and balanced while I'm at college? So if any of this sounds like your child or your family that this might be a helpful conversation, please consider reaching out to us to continue the conversation. Let us dig a little bit deeper and begin to help you think through some boundary setting. Thanks again for joining us.